In this video, I'm going to show you how to filter a dataset in R. I'm currently using Jupyter Notebook, but the same R code can be run in any IDE to be able to filter out a dataset. So to get started, I'm going to do library and load in Tidyverse. If you don't have access to Tidyverse yet, you are going to need to install it. So you just need to do install.packages parentheses, and then in quotations do Tidyverse. Since I already have it installed, I'm not going to do this, but that is the code you need to install it. So now what I'm going to do is just pull up a data set that is already in R, and that is the MPG data set. So this is just a bunch of cars that were manufactured and some of their characteristics as well. And I want to show you how to be able to filter based off of a string. And so in this data set, if we're looking at the manufacturers, what if we only want the manufacturer that is Audi? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to use what's known as the pipe operator from dplyr. So if you do Control-Shift-M on your keyboard, it's going to bring up this % greater than sign %, and that's what's known as the pipe operator. And so basically what it's doing is it's passing in this data set or whatever's happened before this pipe as the data set into the next function. So from here we can use the filter function, and then we're just going to use parentheses. And within here, we just need to put in some logical condition. And so what we can put in is something like manufacturer. So that would be calling this manufacturer. And then we want to say is equal to Audi. And so we would do a space and then a double equals. This is how you are actually setting something equal. If you only have a single equals, that is assigning a variable. So it's trying to assign that string to the column, and it's going to error on you every time. So you need to have your double equals there. And then you're going to do in quotation and put in what you want it to equal. So in this case, we want it to equal Audi. And when we run this, you can see that now we only get the Audi that shows up. If we run it for something like Toyota instead, you can see that now only the Toyotas are showing up. So that is what you get if you want it to be the exact. But if I take this off and run this again, you can see that there might be examples where you want all of something that contains something and not exactly that's exact. So for example, all of these transmissions, there's auto and then there's manual, but then it has something in the parentheses. So like I5, AV, different things there. So if we wanted to filter for all auto, we would either have to split this string or we need to use something that can look for a string inside of another string, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to use that pipe operator again, and then we're going to do filter. And so we again need to pass in a logical condition, something that's going to give back a true or a false. And so what we're going to do here is use the function grepl. So grepl. And what this function does is it takes in two different parameters. The first is the string. So the string we want is auto. And then the second is where do you want it to look for this string? And so where we want it to look is in trans for transmission. So what this is going to do is it's going to see, does this string of characters exist in each one of these? If it does, it's going to return back true. So just to show you what this looks like, let's just run this for a second. Because I pulled this out of the pipe operator, I have to actually give it the database because it doesn't know what just trans is. So if we run this, you can see it's just giving you a series of true or false. So that's all a logical condition or a Boolean is it's giving you this true or false. And so what filter does is it takes the set of true and false and only returns the ones that are true. So we're going to filter based off the ones that have auto in them. And so when we run this, you can see now we're getting all the ones that have auto in it, but not the one that have manual in it. And it doesn't matter what this outside is over here. Now, if we had instead done this trans equals auto, what you're going to see is we get nothing because every single one of those has that parentheses there. So nothing just equals auto. So if we go back to our filtered, now what if we wanted to only get specific ones from this? So you can see there's like an I4 and I5. So let's say we only want I4 or I5. So what we can do instead, since we know exactly what we're pulling for, we're going to use some Boolean logic to be able to add conditions together. So we're going to say trans equals auto I5. And then the other condition we want is trans equals auto I4. And so what we need to put in between here is a Boolean that tells it how to add these conditions together. So if we use the ampersand sign, what that's going to do is it's going to require that to be returned, it needs to have both auto I5 and auto I4. And we know that none of these have this, so if we ran it, we should get nothing here because this column only has one or the other, not both. So instead, we want what's known as the OR, which is just the pipe character or a straight line that tells us that look for things that have this or this. So one change is that this is actually an L here, not an I that I've been writing. But now that we have the auto L5 and auto L4, we can see that with this pipe here, we have it showing up both, the ones that have auto L5 and auto L4 as well. So that is overall how you can filter based off of a string within R. I will leave a few videos up on the screen if you're interested in more R tutorials, and please like this video if it was helpful and subscribe to this channel for more R tutorials, and I hope to see you in the next video.